She stood on a brightly lit stage at 13, her voice raw and fierce. The audience sat in silence as Courtney Hadwin poured her soul into the song. No one expected a tiny girl from County Durham to shake a sold-out theater in America within seconds. Today, we trace her astonishing rise, the moment that changed her life forever, and the tragedy that followed her dream. Stay with me as we narrate every twist and turn in Courtney Hadwin's journey, from a hopeful audition to a heartbreaking accident, and learn exactly how her spirit carried her through the darkest period of her life. Courtney Hadwin was born on May 6, 2004, in Heselden, a small village in County Durham, England, to Anne-Marie and Paul Hadwin. Her parents always found time to nurture her talent in music. Young Courtney first heard soul music when she was very small. Her mother played music from different established artists. At age 3, she could dance with her hands up in the air whenever her parents played music in the house. Her love for music brought so much joy to her parents. The school introduced her to singing lessons at age 8. Her music teacher noticed her angelic tone and unique depth of voice and encouraged her to join the school choir. Weekly rehearsals helped her grow more confident. She was nicknamed Rocker Girl by her schoolmates after they saw her sing and dance at the same time. Courtney was deeply committed to her art. She never missed her music lessons and practiced vocal scales in her bedroom mirror before school. At the age of 10, she formed a group of neighborhood children called Durham Soul. Their parents supported them by purchasing guitars and drums. Small crowds gathered to watch them sing along. A reporter from a local newspaper wrote a short feature with the headline, "A Young Girl Brings Soul to County Durham." That article made her parents proud and gave Courtney a reason to believe her voice mattered. She trained at Shotton Hall Theater School, learning phrasing and control. Her first real stage was at a small festival in Durham City. Thousands came to watch. Standing under those lights made her nervous at first, but she quickly gained confidence. When she finished, everyone applauded her. By age 12, her dreams had grown bigger than her hometown. She saved pocket money to help pay for plane tickets. Late at night, she wrote goals she would love to achieve. Her mother always told her to work hard, stay humble, and remember her goal in life. Those words stayed with her as she prepared to travel far from home. In the summer of 2018, 13-year-old Courtney Hadwin stepped off a plane in Omaha, Nebraska, carrying her small suitcase, a leather jacket, and great determination. She had never been to the United States before. On the morning of her audition, Courtney arrived at the CenturyLink Center feeling excited and nervous. Inside the holding area, hopeful singers and dancers practiced in small groups. When Courtney walked to center stage, silence fell over the audience. She wore a little black leather jacket, a white shirt, and dark jeans. She seemed painfully shy as she stood quietly answering the judges' questions. Then the band began the opening chords of Hard to Handle. As if a switch had flipped, Courtney launched into a high-octane version with the stage presence of a rock star. She stomped her foot in time with the music, moving like a singer twice her age. Simon leaned forward, eyebrows raised. Heidi sat upright, eyes wide. Howie covered his mouth with his hand. When the final chord rang out, the theater exploded in cheers. Howie Mandel hit his golden buzzer, sending golden confetti raining down. Courtney glanced at her mother, who was weeping tears of joy backstage. With a shaky voice, she said, "I love to sing. It makes me feel free." Her performance clip spread across social media that same night. By morning, it had gained over 10 million views on YouTube. Today, that clip has over 310 million views. News outlets called her the voice of a teen Janis Joplin. Producers invited Courtney back for a more private audition. She performed an original song titled Heart and Soul. Even without full stage lights, her voice carried emotion through every corner of the room. Simon praised her creativity and said, "That was an audition I will never forget." Judges ensured she would advance directly to the live shows. In interviews, Courtney spoke about missing her family, but admitted a growing sense of belonging on the AGT stage. "I am just me, and it was great that AGT let me be me on stage," she later explained. Messages poured in from as far away as Japan and Brazil. Courtney was so overwhelmed with joy that she could not hold back her tears. By the time live shows started, Courtney was a headline. Fans shared videos on social media, tagging friends and family. In less than one day, her video passed 10 million views. Suddenly, this young girl from County Durham found herself at the center of a whirlwind. She arrived in Los Angeles under a chaperone arrangement. Her tutor helped with schoolwork because she was constantly traveling. Each morning, she woke early to practice before breakfast, warming up her voice using different scales. Afternoons brought rehearsals on the AGT soundstage. One crew member said she handled each new challenge with maturity beyond her years. When live show week arrived, Courtney chose Maybe by Janis Joplin. She stood on a stage framed by glowing arches and deep red lighting. The crowd rose to its feet midway through the song. Confetti cannons burst, covering her in shimmering streamers. Her performances ranked among the most viewed clips in the talent show's history. Talk shows called her team. She appeared on The Ellen DeGeneres Show and The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon. Record labels sent offers for studio time. However, Courtney stayed grounded. She remembered her mother's words, to sing to share joy, not for fame. After each interview, she called home to keep her family close. In early October 2018, Courtney joined a small tour supporting fellow AGT finalists. The group traveled by bus from Minneapolis toward Madison, Wisconsin. Outside, heavy rain tapped against the glass. At around midnight, the bus approached a stretch of road known for slick surfaces. Rain had poured for hours. As the bus rounded a curve, a gust of wind pushed the vehicle toward the guardrail. The driver braked hard but could not regain full control. The bus skidded sideways for nearly 20 feet. Courtney felt a jolt that threw her forward. Overhead cabinets sprang open, and cases slid from their stowed positions. Then, with a final lurch, the bus came to rest against the guardrail. Courtney rubbed her forehead where it had struck the luggage rack. Her right knee throbbed sharply, and blood ran down her temple. Fellow musicians were shaken but conscious. Outside, motorists stopped to help, shining flashlights and calling emergency services. Paramedics boarded quickly. Courtney sat on a folding chair beside the bus. A paramedic gently examined her knee, confirming a fracture. She agreed to be taken to a nearby hospital. At St. Mary's Hospital in Madison, doctors confirmed a fracture of the right kneecap and a mild concussion. No surgery was needed, but she required 6 weeks of limited movement and physical therapy. News of the crash reached people quickly. Social media feeds filled with wishes for a swift recovery. Simon Cowell and Heidi Klum recorded get-well messages. Tour dates were canceled, and many fans offered to donate ticket fees to the recovery fund. After 2 days, Courtney flew back to England under medical supervision. Her parents picked her up at the airport. Physical therapy began in a small clinic near Heselden. Each session included light stretches, balance exercises, and strengthening drills. Concussion guidelines limited her phone use. During breaks, she practiced light humming to keep her voice in shape. Though the crash halted her busy schedule, it brought moments of rest and reflection. Courtney wrote lyrics about resilience and hope. Physical therapy helped Courtney learn to walk properly again. She bent her knee only a little at first, using gentle exercises. She balanced on one leg for seconds before resting. With every session, she noticed small improvements. Because doctors warned her to rest her head, she limited screen time and wrote new lyrics about facing fear and finding strength. Afternoons found her in the garden shed, which her family had turned into a small studio. She hummed to keep her voice tuned without straining. Soon she moved to soft covers of Aretha Franklin and Etta James. News of her recovery spread through her hometown. Neighbors brought food and company. Friends dropped by with homemade cards. One night, local singers gathered outside her window to perform a short concert. Courtney watched from the porch, crying tears of gratitude. By late November, doctors gave her the go-ahead for light singing tests. She stood without crutches for the first time, took a deep breath, and sang scales. Her voice was good, A sense of joy filled her as she realized she could still share her gift. In early December, organizers of a charity benefit in Newcastle City Hall invited her to perform. She opened with a soft ballad of her own making. The song built slowly, each verse adding strength, until she lifted her voice in a soaring finish. The crowd rose to their feet. After months of healing, Courtney stepped back into the spotlight in early 2019. But then she disappeared from a public eye. Many assumed she quit music. In reality, she was quietly reinventing herself. She spent months away, battling self-doubt and identity struggles. In private, she wrote and experimented with music, discovering that her power lay not just in her voice, but in her words. By 2023, Courtney returned as a confident artist. Her haunting single Breakable revealed vulnerability fans had never heard, followed by That Girl Don't Live Here. Her 2023 release Monsters debuted at number 19 on Billboard's Hard Rock Digital Song Sales chart, making her one of the youngest independent female artists to achieve the feat. In September 2025, Courtney unveiled her debut album Little Miss Jagged, a sonic diary blending blues rock roots with modern grunge. At 21, she reflected, "Little Miss Jagged has been in creation, without me even realizing, since I was 16. I'm now 21, and I feel like I've just given the internet my personal diary." Tracks like Steady Rock Steady blend pop, rock, funk, and soul. She co-wrote and produced the song herself. She recently released a music video for Die and Stay Pretty, explaining it's the most challenging song and personal I've ever written. In a significant milestone, Courtney teamed with legendary guitarist Steven Van Zandt for You Only Love Me When I Lie, featuring a guitar solo from the E Street Band member. A portion of proceeds goes to Teach Rock to support music education. Looking back, Courtney admits she used to care too much about what people thought. But now I honestly couldn't care less. Of course, I want people to connect with my music, but I'm writing it for me. Anyone who helps along the way is a bonus. Courtney's story is not a comeback, it is a continuation. From a trembling teen to a rock and roll force, she has reclaimed her voice, her identity, and her destiny, turning chaos into harmony, pain into poetry, and silence into strength. Her journey shows that our dreams can soar higher than we ever imagined if we keep pushing. If you enjoyed this video, there is more that awaits you. Stay curious,